What if the cash in your wallet had an expiration date? What if your next purchase was declined, not by your bank, but by a government algorithm that decided you've bought too much gasoline this month? This isn't a scene from some dystopian film. This is the future being planned for your money. They call it a central bank digital currency, or CBDC. They sell it as progress, as convenience, the next logical step in our digital world. But beneath the surface, it could be a system of ultimate control. We're going to break down exactly how this system is designed to work, why it's one of the biggest threats to your freedom you've probably never heard of, and what you can still do to stop it. So, what exactly is a central bank digital currency? On the surface, the idea seems simple enough. It's a digital version of a country's official money. A digital dollar, a digital euro, a digital yen. But unlike the money in your bank account, which is technically a loan to a commercial bank, a CBDC would be a direct liability of the central bank itself. You can think of it as digital cash, issued and backed by the government. The sales pitch is slick. They claim CBDCs will make payments faster and cheaper. They talk about financial inclusion, promising it will give people without bank accounts access to the digital economy. They frame it as a necessary upgrade for a world that never sleeps. And this isn't some far-off idea. The push is global, and it's happening with staggering speed. As of late 2024, 134 countries and currency unions, representing over 98% of the world's GDP, are exploring or developing a CBDC. The European Central Bank is deep in the preparation phase for a digital euro, with major decisions expected in late 2025. And China has already rolled out its digital yuan pilot, the eCNY, to hundreds of millions of people. They present it as clean, efficient, and inevitable. But what are they not telling you? What lies buried under the promises of progress? This is where you have to look past the marketing and at the technology itself. The key, and frankly terrifying feature of a CBDC is not that it's digital. The key is that it is programmable. Programmable money is money that comes with rules and restrictions coded directly into it. Your money would no longer be a neutral tool for you to use as you see fit. It would become an instrument for enforcing policy. But don't take my word for it. Listen to Agustin Carstens, the general manager of the Bank for International Settlements, which is essentially the central bank for the world's central banks. In a statement he made, he laid out the chilling difference between a CBDC and cash. He said, and I quote, "We don't know who's using a $100 bill today. The key difference with the CBDC is the central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability, and also we will have the technology to enforce that." Absolute control. The technology to enforce that. Let that sink in. With a CBDC, every single transaction you make is recorded on a centralized government ledger. The privacy of cash is gone, but it goes so much further than just surveillance. Because the money is programmable, the issuer, the central bank, can build rules directly into your wallet. What could that look like? Critics fear it could mean stimulus funds that disappear if not spent within 30 days. Imagine your digital wallet being coded to prevent you from buying more than a certain amount of fuel or meat. Imagine your money being programmed to not work if you travel outside a specific zone. Imagine the government imposing negative interest rates directly on your savings to force you to spend. These aren't just wild theories. These are the technological capabilities that worry opponents of CBDCs. While central bankers in Europe and the US give assurances about privacy, the fact remains. The tool for this level of control would be built. They are asking you to trust that they, and every government that follows, will simply choose not to use the immense power they've given themselves. History suggests that is a dangerously naive assumption. If you want to see the blueprint for this future, you only need to look at China. China's digital yuan, the eCNY, is the largest CBDC pilot in the world. By mid-2024, Cumulative transaction volumes had already reached the equivalent of trillions of yuan. It's being pushed for everything from public transport to shopping. The official line is all about efficiency and countering the dominance of private payment giants like Alipay and WeChat Pay. But the eCNY is being rolled out in a country with one of the most sophisticated surveillance states and social credit systems on Earth. While officials have not publicly confirmed a direct integration, critics are deeply concerned about the potential for these two systems to work together, creating a reality where your social credit score could directly impact your ability to spend money. This is the potential future when money is no longer a private tool, but a public utility controlled by the state. And it's not just China. The European Central Bank is moving steadily toward a digital euro. They are finalizing a rule book and running pilot programs, with a major decision point scheduled for October 2025. The debate in Europe often revolves around privacy, with the ECB claiming they will build in protections, but the very design of a centralized system makes true cash-like privacy a monumental challenge. This is the global trend. The technology is being built, the pilots are running, and the public is being slowly conditioned to see it as normal. This is all moving incredibly fast, and the mainstream media is not giving you the full picture. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and understand the real risks to your financial freedom, take a second to subscribe and hit that notification bell. It's a small click that helps us keep getting this information out there. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. There is a growing awareness and significant pushback against this agenda, particularly in the United States. Many Americans are instinctively wary of government overreach, and the idea of a digital dollar has sparked fierce political opposition. This resistance has had a real impact. In January 2025, an executive order was signed explicitly prohibiting federal agencies from establishing or promoting a retail CBDC in the United States. The Federal Reserve has also stated it would not move forward without clear support from both Congress and the executive branch. This is a major victory, but the fight is far from over. The global momentum is still overwhelmingly in favor of CBDCs, and this is where we have to watch for the great deception. They won't sell this as a tool for control. They will sell it as convenience. They might use a friendly-sounding name or point to existing systems like FedNow. But FedNow is not a CBDC. It's a real-time payment settlement system. Critics worry, however, that such systems could be used to build the tracks for a train that's heading in a much more dangerous direction, normalizing the very infrastructure a CBDC would one day run on. The core threat remains the same. Once your money becomes programmable, so do you. Your behavior can be nudged, coerced, and ultimately commanded by whoever writes the code. This isn't just about money, it's about your autonomy. So, facing this global machine, what can an individual actually do? It feels overwhelming, but the solution begins with simple, powerful actions. First, awareness. The greatest weapon against this agenda is a public that understands the stakes. The reason this has moved so far, so fast, is because it's been buried in dense reports from the BIS and central banks. You can change that. Share this video. Talk about it. Ask your friends the same questions I asked you at the start. Second, use cash. Cash is freedom. It is anonymous, permissionless, and final. It is the enemy of the surveillance state. Every time you use cash, you are casting a vote for financial privacy. A society that gives up cash is a society that gives up its last line of defense against total financial surveillance. The more we use it, the harder it is for them to call it obsolete. Third, explore decentralized alternatives. While governments build centralized systems of control, a parallel financial system has been growing for over a decade. Decentralized cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin offer a different path. It is not issued or controlled by any government or bank. Its supply is fixed by code, and its network is resistant to censorship. Now, Bitcoin isn't a perfect solution. It has its own risks and volatility. But it is vital to understand it as a plan B. an alternative that exists outside the walls of the system they want to build. It represents the freedom to choose, and that choice is everything. Finally, get vocal. Support the politicians, organizations, and voices speaking out against the dangers of CBDCs and fighting for financial privacy. The executive order in the US is proof that when people make noise, it has an effect. This is not a left or right issue, it's an issue of freedom versus control. We are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to a future of supposed convenience, but it comes at the price of absolute control, where your financial life is an open book managed by a central authority. The other path is one of financial sovereignty, privacy, and freedom, with all the responsibility that comes with it. Central bank digital currencies are not an upgrade for money, they are an upgrade for control. The question is no longer whether this is possible, it is. The question is whether we will consent to it. If this video opened your eyes, please give it a like and share it with at least one person you know. The more people who understand what is truly at stake, the better our chances of preserving a future where our money and our lives remain our own.